What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Cody Miller Show, the ultimate swimming-related show here on my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Cody Miller. Thank you for joining me today as we spend a little bit of time talking about all things in the world of swimming. That's swimming training, that's competitions, that's last week's NCAAs. That's actually what we're gonna really talk about today is pretty much NCAAs and some other stuff too. You know, I like nerd stuff, so you guys send in weird questions sometimes. So this is an all questions-based show. And before we get started, how do you get a topic or a question answered on my show? It's really easy. Make sure you guys are following me on social media at SwimMiller on Twitter and at Cody Miller on Instagram. When I post a photo, you can shoot off questions in there anytime. But the best way to get a main topic on is to send me an email. Send me an email to thecodymillershow@gmail.com. That's thecodymillershow@gmail.com, and maybe your topic will show up on my show. So without further ado, let's get started. Off the top, last week was amazing. The NCAA Championships was a blast. For those of you who watched my vlog, you'll know that I had a ridiculous amount of fun. It was great cheering on my team, you know, watching them get third place again for the second year in a row. That hasn't happened since pretty much the 1970s. So the fact that the IU team, the team that I train with, is back on top doing really well again, that's wonderful. We had a handful of national champions. One highlighted meet, there was one night at the meet where we had 3 events. We won 3 events. We won the 100 butterfly, the 100 backstroke, and the 10-meter platform diving. That's incredible. It's been like 50 years since we've won 3 events in one night at the biggest swim meet in the country. And it was really a special event. I mean, I did that video the other day where I talked about meeting with all the alumni and seeing people that I'd never met before, but that we all share this special bond. It was really, really a wonderful experience and a lot of fun. And I'm just gonna check really quickly to make sure my autofocus is working, because I know my last couple episodes it wasn't, but it's looking okay. So, what else is going on? Oh yeah. So today's Thursday. I'm uploading this on Friday, so you guys are watching this 24 hours later, probably. I'm headed to LA this weekend, so by the time you're watching this, I'll probably be in LA. And I'm going there because I just started a new podcast with 2 of my buddies, John Campia and Robert Meyer Burnett. John is an online film pundit, and Robert is a producer, director in Hollywood. And we started a podcast just based on movies, because you know how much of a movie fan I am. And it's doing really well, and so they're actually, I'm getting flown out there to go and do some businessy stuff with them. And as a perk, a bonus, Allie and I get to go to Harry Potter World, and definitely gonna bring my robe and wear it, and get to drink some butterbeer and kind of have fun. And that's like, I mean, look at this room. Like, you know how much I love Harry Potter, so I'm just thrilled and excited about that. And so that's what I got going on. But for now, let's get on to our main topics. Our first topic of the day comes to us from Eric Herman, who asks, how is making 0 tickets available to the public for men's NCs promoting the sport? Wish I could have gone. Yes, sadly, tickets weren't really available. And I have a few different thoughts on that. Number one, I think this is the first year that that's ever happened before, where like the general public couldn't get tickets if you didn't have a connection with a team that was going. So me and like the 100 alumni that got tickets because they requested to get tickets from our university who requested tickets in advance from the NCAA. And so there's always like a big cheering section from family and friends of current swimmers. And those tickets get distributed, like the universities, all the schools request a certain number of tickets, and then those tickets get dished out, and then whatever is left is kind of open to the public. But finals was like pretty much out. Like you could not get finals tickets for the most part unless you'd had them reserved, and that sucks. And I know that there were a lot of people that were saying, hey, I would have loved to come and watch, but I couldn't. Because they don't have a direct link with the school. And my solution to that is I'm obviously biased because I live in Indiana and I'm close to the natatorium, but I believe, and I think most people will agree with me when I say that the best and the fastest pool in the country is the IUPUI natatorium in Indianapolis. And I believe that they should just host NCAAs there every single year, because it just makes sense. It makes sense to host NCs at the best pool in the country that is pretty much central. It's fair for people on the West Coast to travel to the Nat. It's fair for people on the East Coast to travel at the Nat. Everyone swam that pool before. Everyone knows it. Pretty much all swimmers are comfortable with it. And it's a large venue that can fit everyone, so there would never be a ticket problem. Now, On the other hand, there is something special for teams and colleges to host the event. Like, there's something special about being able to host a championship meet. And I can't really argue against that, right? Like, it's fun to go to different places. It's fun to travel to new cities, and I do think that's good for the sport. So I don't really know, but it's a bummer. I'm sorry you weren't able to go. I wish more people could attend that meet. In the world of swimming, there's two events that I always say everybody needs to experience. One of them is NCAAs. If you're a true swim fan, you have to experience NCAAs because it is the fastest meet in the world. It is faster and more competitive than the Olympics, and we will get into that. I'm going to talk about that. And number two is United States Olympic Trials. That meet is unlike anything else. I'm not going to go off on a tangent right now, but I mean, that meet is something truly, truly special. And it's a spectacle in its event, and it's wonderful. I describe it as the Super Bowl of swimming, and all swim fans need to experience something like that. And there needs to be more events with that type of atmosphere, and we could talk a lot about that, but that's all I'll say on it now. I wish you could have got tickets. Maybe next year will be better. We'll see. Thank you for the question. Our next topic of the day comes to us from, I got a lot of people asking me this kind of question, comes to us from Charles Nadal, who says, "Hey Cody, big fan of your vlog." Thank you very much. He says, "My question, what did you think about Dean Farris's performance at NCAAs?" I had hundreds of people ask me that. It was remarkable. It was amazing. For those of you who don't know, Dean Farris is, I believe he's going to be, I think he's a junior, and he goes to Harvard. And he swam the 200 freestyle relay, the 4x200 freestyle relay, the 100 backstroke, the 50 free, and the 100 free. And he set the NCAA American and US Open record in the 200 freestyle. He went 129.1 200-yard freestyle on the first night of the meet, breaking Townley Haas's previous American record. I believe that was the most impressive swim of the meet. Watching him break that record by that much time, almost going 128 in the 200-yard free, that was the most impressive swim of the meet. Only 3 people have ever broken 130 in the 200 free. And just like literally a year and a half ago, we never really even thought it was gonna be possible. Blake Peroni, my buddy Blake, you guys see him on my vlogs all the time. He'll go down in history as he was the first person to ever break 130. He broke 130 for the first time in the 200-yard free last year, and it was incredible. And then Townley rebroke his record, went 129.5 after Blake went 129.6, and Dean just went 129.1. Outstanding. I mean, I'm very happy for him. He's such a fun swimmer to watch because he has an interesting turnover rate, his freestyle. He's got really good kickouts, so he kicks out to about halfway on pretty much all of his walls, and it's exciting to watch him swim. And the fun part was, like, when he set that record, he was actually in the slower heat. He was in heat 1 or heat 2 of 3 of the relays, so he let off in a slower heat, like with not, and killed everyone, and he was so far ahead, and it was just really exciting to watch. And I've never met him, I've never really talked to him, but he seems like a really nice dude. He seems really cool and down to earth, so I was very happy for him. Also, he won the 100 backstroke. I believe he's only the second person to break 44 seconds in the 100 back. He went 43.5 or 43.6. He just missed Olympic champion and world record holder, my buddy Murphy. He just missed Murphy's record, and that was a shock. Everyone was like, whoa. Like, I don't think anybody expected that. I know Ryan was talking about that event, and he didn't think anyone was going to get close to his record, and he did. And that was a super fun race to watch. And there was a lot of controversy about, well, before I get into that. And then Dean also swam the 100 freestyle, and Dean went 40.8, winning the 100, I think 40.8, 40.7, which makes him like the 3rd fastest 100 freestyler ever, I think. Mighty impressive, incredible meet. I applaud him. It was fun to watch. But swimmer of the meet went to Andrew Selisgar from Cal, deservedly so. He won 3 events. He was instrumental in 4 of Cal's big relays. Watching Selisgar go 138 in the 200 IM was incredible. I mean, 2nd fastest swim ever. Very remarkable swim. His 200 breaststroke was also fantastic, as was his 200 freestyle. He won the 200 freestyle on a 130.1. And a lot of people were saying that Dean should have done the 200 free because he would have won the 200 free. And he chose to do the 100 back instead because he broke the record, went the fastest time ever in the 200 freestyle, and then chose not to swim that event individually because it was the same day as the 100 backstroke. Did he make the right decision? I mean, he won the 100 backstroke almost broke that record, and he still has that 200 freestyle record. So I think he could have done the double. Like, I think he could have won the 200 freestyle and then also won the 100 backstroke. Would he have been as fast in the 100 backstroke? Probably not after a 200 freestyle. So, I mean, I don't know, but all in all, I mean, I've had so many people ask me about that. He's a fun swimmer to watch, and so is Seliskar. Watching Seliskar swim that 2M, I mean, it's exciting watching those guys finish races, and the way that they celebrate. When people celebrate at NCs, it's just something so special because they're doing it for their team, and they're looking up into the stands, and there's hundreds of people wearing their team's gear. It's very tribal and exciting. But yeah, Dean had a great meet. Andrew Seliskar had a great meet. Yeah, so thank you for the question. I'm sure I'll talk way more about that in an upcoming podcast where we'll really dive into those kinds of things. Thank you for the question. Our next question comes to us from Jacob Pishko, who asks, is NCAA the fastest short course yards meet in the world? Why? Do you think we will continue to see the meet/times get even faster? Okay, so I'm going to break this down. For those of you who are international, who don't swim short course yards, it's just a little bit shorter than short course meters, but people don't understand the times because they've never swam it before, and that's understandable. But let me explain this in a broad way. The NCAA Championships is the most competitive, fastest meet in the world ever. It is arguably it is equivalent to the Olympics in terms of pressure and stress, and it is sometimes harder to make the final in an event at the NCAA Championships than it is to make the final at the Olympic Games, or at least on par. And I know people who don't understand NCAA swimming are like, how is that possible? Well, I will explain. At a meet like the Olympics and at a meet like World Championships, those meets are a week long, sometimes 7-8 days long. And most of the time, most swimmers only have 1 or 2 events and maybe 1 relay. And those events, those meets, like Worlds, like the Olympics, have a prelim session, a semifinal session, and a final session. So you swim prelims, you make top 16. You swim semifinals, you make top 8. Then you swim finals. And at those meets, you have a lighter event load because you are swimming fewer races. Follow me here. At NCAAs, the best swimmers, so the top 7 guys on the Indiana team, Vinny Lanza, Mohamed Sami, Mishu, Ian Finnerty, Gabriel Fantoni, the top guys from Cal, like Andrew Seliskar, a guy like Adine Farris from Harvard, a guy like Townley Haas from Texas. Those guys are swimming 3 individual events. They're swimming 4 relays, prelims and finals, in 3 days. 3 days. There is 1 relay Wednesday afternoon, but then there's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of competing. That's 13 races in basically 3 days. So on some nights, you might have guys going 4 races in finals, 4 all-out races, right? So basically 3 to 4 races. Some of those guys might have a relay, a final swim, and then a relay where they're going all out in finals, and you've got to get up the next morning, and you don't have the luxury of being just top 16. You can't just skate by. You have to go basically all out. There are very few exceptions where people can kind of take their foot off the pedal a little bit and just ease into making it into finals. You know, like Phelps will be the first person to tell you that at the Olympics, when he swam like 23 events in 1 week, the most amazing thing we've ever seen in our sport, there were races where prelims and semifinals, for him, they weren't easy, but it was not very difficult for him to move forward. Like, he only had to put a certain amount of effort forward. He only had to go 85 or 90% in a race to advance to the next final session. At the NCAA level, that does not exist. You have to basically go your seed time or close to your lifetime best time in prelims every time, or you won't make it back because it's that fast. And we see it every single year. We see an example of a fast guy who's, you know, top 3, top 4 in an event and not make the final. And oftentimes it's because of that heavy event load because they're swimming so much. Oftentimes it's the pressure. I mean, sometimes it's hard to get up for prelims when you're swimming that volume of fast swimming. It's very challenging. It's very, very challenging. And that's why I say to people that swimming in the NCAA prepares people for World Championships and for the Olympics and for a professional swimming career better than anything else out there. Period. End of story. Because the best swimmers in the world, like a guy like Andrew Seliskar, had to perform at a high level in prelims and didn't have a lot of wiggle room. You know, like they had to go very fast times to make it into top 8. The top end guys might have a little bit of wiggle room, but not much. Like I said, it's only top 8. It's direct to top 8. And there's 13 races in 3 days. That's insane. Those guys will go to a World Championships or go to the Olympics where they might be on 2 relays. They might swim 2 or 3 individual events, but instead of having 3 days, they have 7 days. So there's a lot more rest period. There's a lot more time to allow your body to recover. There's a lot more downtime. The NCAA is challenging, and that's what makes it exciting and fun to watch. That it's just the sheer magnitude and intensity. It's incredible, and I love it. And it certainly made me a better swimmer. And it certainly is making all those guys a better swimmer. It certainly it's making a guy like a Dean Farris and a guy like an Andrew Seliskar who are on track to make a major team, like a major World Championship or major Olympic team. I say that, but I mean Andrew Seliskar, I think he's already on the World Championship team. But they're prepared to race and compete at a high level at those meets because of the NCAA. And it's fun to watch. So I hope that makes it a little bit more. People can understand a little bit better why I say it's the fastest meet in the world, because I mean oftentimes it is. And here's the other thing, like with World Championships and the Olympics, they're super, super fast. Okay, they're incredibly fast. But let me explain something to you. There are oftentimes, because of qualification standards, there are oftentimes some of the fastest swimmers in the world aren't able to go to those meets. Example, in the men's 100 freestyle here in the United States, there's like 6 or 7 guys who could qualify for the A final at the Olympics or at World Championships. But only 2 of those guys get to go to the games. You see what I'm saying here? And so oftentimes those meets, although they are super fast and they are highly competitive and they are incredibly fun to watch, oftentimes the fastest swimmers in the world don't get to go because of how strict qualification standards are. In 2012, a good friend of mine, David Plummer, missed the Olympic team by hundredths of a second in the 100-meter backstroke. Hundredths of a second, okay? He would have won, he didn't get to go to the Olympics because he got 3rd at US trials, and they only take top 2. Had he gone to the Olympics and had he raced and gone the same time he went at trials, he would have won a bronze medal. He was good enough that year. He was the 3rd fastest guy in the world that year. Would have won a medal. Didn't get to go to the games. And that's just one example. There's a lot of those. So oftentimes the depth level of a World Championships or an Olympic Games is not the same as it would be at the NCAA level. Because here in the United States, there is more fast swimmers per capita in this area, be it American swimmers or international swimmers, because there are a lot of international swimmers. A lot of the fastest international swimmers in the world come to the United States to swim in the NCAA. They do. And that makes it exciting and it's fun. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. I know that we'll talk more about that in the future. I'll definitely get into it, more nitty gritty, nerdy stuff into a podcast. We'll do that. Is my thing still focusing? Okay, it's still focusing. Thank you for the question. And our next question comes to us, once again, about Dean Farris from, it's Kale, C-A-L, Seal McLaren, who asks, what is your opinion on Dean Farris opting out to swim the 100 back instead of the 200 free? Was it a good move that he could have won the 200 freestyle, even though he chose to do the 100 back? Yeah, I mean, there's no right or wrong answer, because he probably would have been a little bit slower in the 100 backstroke had he done the double. So his event lineup would have been 200 freestyle first, then 100 backstroke. And when we watched the meet, we watched Seliskar win the 200 freestyle and go 130.1, which by the way is stupid fast. Congratulations to Seliskar. But we watched that and we were like, whoa, like Dean was a full second faster than that. He would have won. Then we watched Dean's 100 backstroke and he almost broke Murphy's record. I mean, 43.5. 43.5. That's amazing. Everyone was like, whoa, watch out. Did he do the right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's got the record in that and he won the 100 back. So on that night, it looks like he made the right decision. I I don't know. Who knows what he'll do? I've heard a rumor, and I don't know if this is entirely true, but I believe he's taking the next year off to train for the Olympics. I believe, because he's trained at Texas before, like he trained there during the summer. I believe he's taken the year off from Harvard to train for the Olympics, to train at Texas, and then he's going to go back. So it's going to be it's going to be a while before we see him compete in the NCAA again, but it's exciting. Thank you for the question. Next question comes to us from Gina Michael, who asks, "Hey Cody, what is the purpose of shaving before big meets or the NCAA? P.S. You're my favorite swimmer from Georgia." From Georgia. Okay, so shaving, there's a misconception for people who don't understand this, and this is what I always tell people who don't know anything about swimming. It's that you don't shave to take off the hair. The hair on my chest and the hair on my arms, is there drag? Yes. Does that cause a little bit of drag? Does it slow you down a little bit? Yes. But that's not why you shave. You shave to remove that sensitive layer of skin and remove that friction from your body, so that when you shave your full body after having not shaved for a long period of time or a period of time, suddenly that sensitive epidural layer of skin is gone, and you dive in the water and your body, the signaling from your muscles to your brain changes, because you all of a sudden don't feel the same in the water. You all of a sudden don't feel that locking up in your legs or that feeling in your legs. And also you just feel slick, you feel fast. But there is, and I don't know how much research has been done behind it, but I can say it's not so much for the hair. So like I'll oftentimes clip my arms or clip my chest because my chest is hairy. But there is a major difference between just clipping my hair and actually taking a razor to it. A major difference. It's that sensitive layer of skin. When you remove that sensitive layer of skin, all of a sudden the signaling of weakness and tightening up and fatigue in certain areas of your body doesn't signal as well to your brain. That's just a fact. Like I experienced that. Now the question is, there are some swimmers out there who shave regularly, like all the time. Like Michael Lander shaves for every single meet, and he swims fast a lot. Does that then take away that feeling of, because the traditional way is you only shave a couple times a year to save the shave, to save that scent, to keep that layer underneath that first layer of skin sensitive. So, I mean, does it still have the same effect if you shave all the time? I don't know. But that's why. It's for that very, and I'm not smart enough to explain to you the layers of skin and the signaling in the brain, but there's something about the signaling to the brain and the fatigue level in your body. That's real. Thank you for the question. All right, and our next question comes to us from Nate Glaude, who asks, "Does IU have a chance at winning the overall? How likely do you think it is?" Okay, clearly this message was sent before NCAAs. They did. Leading into the meet, we thought that IU had a chance at winning the meet. And the way you do that is you score out the heat sheet. So once the heat sheet comes out, we've got a numbers guy who does this. Actually Rob, my best buddy Rob, you guys saw him in my vlog. He takes a spreadsheet and will score out the entire meet based on seedings, based on the psych sheet. And then that gives you a general idea of like going into the meet where people are at. And going into the meet, IU, Texas, and Cal were very close together in the point spread. So on paper, leading into the meet, it looked like it was possible. Now, Cal swam out of their mind. Congratulations to the Golden Bears and to Dave Durden, all those guys. You guys did great. They swam out of their minds. And IU swam really well, but I mean, you never really know till you get there, because I believe Cal outscored the psych sheet by over 100 points, which is that's crazy. That's very, very rare. And so, I mean, yeah, they had a shot. They swam their best. Things didn't go perfect. I mean, we had some off events, but ultimately they ended up getting third. They ended up having a great meet. If you watch my vlog, you'll see how excited I was and how excited all the guys around me were when they won the 400 medley relay. By the way, IU almost set the NCAA record in the 4x100 medley relay. So close. Only the second team in history to make 3 minutes in the 400 medley relay. That was something that was cool. That was something special. So thank you very much for the question. And now, that's it for our main topics, and now we're going to go through our, what I call the rapid fire session of the show. I'm going to try to fly through some of these questions. These questions I pulled from Instagram. First question comes from Skinol20, who said, "Should swimmers take a break after championship meets? If so, how long?" It's different for everybody. I recommend after a championship meet, people take a break. Now, I want to put a little asterisk next to that. I don't mean don't work out. Like, I don't ever believe not working out is a good idea. I've gone seasons where I've taken like a week or two off and not worked out, and I hate how I feel, and it makes getting back into it so much worse. But for swimmers, I think that just be active. Take like a week off, but go for a run. play a game of basketball, do something active where you're getting your heart rate up. Don't just sit and do nothing. I believe sitting and doing nothing is a bad thing, but I do think that having that mental refresh is good. But sometimes there are some people who just don't need it, who are just locked in, you know, like a guy like Vinny Lanza, he was back the next day after our meet. Because, I mean, he's a little different case because he's got Brazilian trials coming up, or he's got to qualify for, I think, World Championships coming, I think. But yeah, I mean, yes, I think taking a break is healthy. Yes, it's different for everyone. Thanks for the question. Next question, LouZach0212 asks, how many goggles do you have? A lot, like a ridiculous amount. Thank you, Tier, for sending me lots of goggles. My favorite are those Tier Tracer Nano X. Those are out of stock right now. I think you guys, like, I plugged those in one of my videos and you guys like bought all of them. But the Tracer X goggles, the slightly larger size, those are the goggles I was wearing in my last vlog in Texas, and I love those goggles too. So if you guys are looking for a pair, those are awesome. Next question, Alex Zoland asks, what does the schedule look like for swimmers at NCs? Did the Texas guys stay in their dorms? Great question. So when a team hosts a meet, they do not stay at home. They don't stay in their dorms. They don't live on campus. When a home team hosts a meet, they treat the meet like it's an away meet. So for example, when Indiana hosts the Big Ten Championships here, the team stays in a hotel, stays together, and treats the meet like it's a travel meet. And they do that for a few reasons. Number one, it eliminates distractions. You have to take yourself out of the normal world and prepare yourself to compete at a high level. That is critical, and that's why you don't come home, you don't interact with your family a whole lot. You try to kind of stay isolated and stay in the zone. So no, the Texas guys did not stay at home or stay in their dorms during the NCAA meet. Great question. Next question comes to us from Ras1801. What events did you swim at the 2019 NCAA? Kind of funny. Maybe you don't know this, but I graduated college several years ago, so I can't swim in the NCAA anymore. You only get 4 years of eligibility. But when I was in school, every year I swam 100 breaststroke, 200 breaststroke, and 200 IM. Those are all on different days. I swam both medley relays, the 4x50, 4x100, and there were a couple years where I swam the freestyle relays too. Like I was on the 4x50 freestyle relay pretty much every year, the 4x100 freestyle relay a couple years. Yeah, so there's that. Thank you for the question. Next question, Farina2242 asks, did you ever win any breaststroke events at the NCAAs? I did not. I never won an individual event. My best finish was second. I got second in the 200 breaststroke my senior year to Kevin Cordes, or Cords, sorry, Kevin. And yeah, I also got third in the 200 IM. Like I was a pretty good IMer. I got like fourth in the 100 breast a couple times. Like I said, like I progressed and got better after college. Like I wasn't like an all-star superstar swimmer in college. I mean, I was good. I was multi-time NCAA finalist each year, but not like, oh my God, this guy's gonna go pro and win a gold medal at the Olympics. Like that just wasn't me. Thanks for the question. Next question comes to us from Swimming Sophie, who asks, thoughts on Cal beating UT, ending the four-peat? Great question. So yes, Cal won the meet pretty handily. They won by a lot. And they beat Texas at Texas. That's gotta sting. That's gotta be hard for the Texas guys to swallow. And honestly, it's just the Cal guys swam out of their minds. And it's funny, the last time Cal won was actually my senior year in 2014. And it was at Texas. So the last time Cal won, it was at Texas. But yeah, it ended their streak. Texas had been winning the few previous years. And I mean, it's just, that's how sports go. That's how it goes. Thanks for the question. Next question comes from, Swimming Sophie also asks, did you like Austin? I love Austin. I had a blast there. I loved it there. Riedel Swims asks, how did Gary do? Oh, sweet, sweet Gary. So Gary got to go to NCAAs, but he actually didn't compete. He almost qualified. He just barely, I think they took like 30 swimmers or 29 swimmers in his event, and he was like 30th or 31st, so he just missed making the meet, which is honestly a good thing. Not that he didn't make the meet, but he swam so well this year because Gary was a guy who was a non-scholarship athlete, was not super fast out of high school, walked on to the IU team, and just at the end of his sophomore year, not only did he make multiple finals at the Big Ten Conference Championship, but he also almost qualified for NCs, like just by the skin of his teeth almost qualified. So his trajectory of improvement is amazing. and he's killing it. And I love that kid, and he's so fun, and I gotta put him in the vlogs more. Gary got to go to the meet because we actually had an open slot for a relay only swimmer. You know, we didn't have another guy that we could bring who was good enough to put on a relay. So we're like, let's bring Gary because we love Gary. So that was cool. Next question. Breaststroke Junkie asks, are you planning to do any swim clinics this summer? Not this summer. Not this summer. I'm not doing any clinics or really very many events, like speaking events or anything this summer. I'll be too busy. But I'm telling you guys, like after the next Olympics, I'm legitimately gonna go on a Cody Miller tour, and I'm gonna do a whole lot of that stuff because I really like doing that stuff. But I have to limit myself and only travel for things that are a true necessity right now. It's just what's best for me. But I will be doing clinics in the future. Thanks for the question. Next question, can you do a giveaway with the new Tier Venzo suit? Yes, I will do a giveaway with the Tier Venzo suit. I'm actually gonna do a Tier giveaway with some Tier goggles in the next week or two, so stay tuned and look out for that. That's coming, but a Venzo, we'll do that too, for sure. I cannot pronounce his name. Alucius something bros. A-U-L, I'm sorry guys, I suck. Thoughts on big swimmers not doing well in prelims during the NCAAs, why? Well, like I said earlier, there's so many swims, you know, and people get tired. And if there's not much wiggle room. So if you're just a little bit off, you add half a second to your seed time, you might not make it back. And that happens frequently. And then there's other factors like there's pressure, you know, there's fatigue, there's all kinds of stuff, but it always happens. And that's just a testament to just the intensity of that meet. And that's also what makes it amazing. Okay, next question comes to us from, actually this is our last question of the day, and our last question comes to us from Patrick Doyle, who says, what did you think of the 500 freestyle and what Townley Haas went? By the way, love the vlog. Thank you so much. Yeah, so the way Townley Haas from Texas swam the 500 freestyle was insane. He'd won that event the year prior. He went out so, like, way under record pace. Like, absurdly fast, way faster than American record pace, and he died hard, and it looked so painful, but he went the second fastest time in history, so I mean, it worked out, and he won by quite a bit. But the thing I'll say is, like, after that race, like, that hurt Townley. That took a lot out of Townley. So much so that, I mean, his 200 freestyle the next day was not great by his standards. I'm not knocking on him. I love Townley. He's a buddy of mine. But I mean, he won that event last year and went sub 130. And this year, I don't remember what his exact time was, but he wasn't really close to breaking one. I mean, he was not under 130. And I think that a big part of that was probably because that 500 took so much out of him. And then his individual 100 freestyle, I could be wrong, but I think he missed the final. I don't think he made the A final on the 100 freestyle. So I could be wrong, but I think he got like 9th in that event. But then he had a great relay split at the end of the meet. Like he split like 40 point on the relay. So like he came back. But yeah, I mean, watching him swim the 500 was incredible. It was super fun. So great job, Townley. That was awesome. And that's a wrap, guys. That's it for today's show. I appreciate you sending in the questions. Once again, make sure you guys follow me on social media at SwimMiller on Twitter, at Cody Miller on Instagram. Drop questions anytime. Send me that email to thecodymillershow@gmail.com if you want to get a main topic on the show. Still tinkering with how I'm going to do the show. My voice is starting to come back. Yeah, please subscribe to my channel, share my vlog, share my videos. If my channel grows, it helps me. It allows me to do more of these videos. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys in the next video.